G'day and welcome back to the channel. Now you may already be aware of the potential benefits of adopting a standing desk when compared to a sitting desk. So in this video, I want to go through some helpful tips and tricks that you can implement to optimize the ergonomics of a potential standing station. And you may know that there's so much research these days that supports transitioning away from a sitting station towards a standing setup. And this not only applies to my field as a physiotherapist in terms of neck pain and back pain and hip dysfunction and all of those things, but there's so many potential benefits to adopting a standing desk that relate to improved mental health, better productivity, more calories burnt, and even things like an improved cost to employers in the form of less sick days and reduced healthcare costs. So if you would like to better understand how you can optimize your standing experience at work or at home, then let's get into it. So if you've clicked on this video, then it's clear that you're interested in learning more about a standing desk. As you may have seen me post about before, there's so many general common aches, pains and dysfunctions that at the end of the day can be specifically related to the shapes and the postures and the positions that you put your spine into the most throughout the day. And in this modern world of ours, clearly the most common thing that we tend to do is sitting. And while I definitely want to champion the use of a standing station over a sitting desk in this video, ultimately we don't want to be too stationary at all for any length of time. If you have the choice between sitting down and working or standing up and moving around, the more you move, the better it's clearly going to be for your entire body over a long period of time. But because our modern world requires us to sit and be stationary for so many different reasons, whether it is work, whether it's travel, or even if you just want to relax and watch some TV at the end of the day, the reality is that we are forced to spend time in stationary shapes. And my perspective on this is, well, why don't we just try and optimize the position of your body while you're in those shapes? Because what I've learned as a physiotherapist over the course of 20 years is that the positions that you put your body into the most during the things that you do the most are the best places to start looking for clues as to why specific parts of your body had become stiff, tight, weak, sore or dysfunctional. And while I heavily promote you optimizing the ergonomics of your sitting station, the natural evolution of this conversation is, well, if you have the choice of no longer sitting, can you then start to explore what a standing station looks like for you? So what I'd like to get to is let's go through some of the really simple basics of how you can optimize your standing desk station to give yourself the best chance of decreasing any hidden aches, pains, injuries and dysfunctions. So the first and probably most important thing to nail when you're adopting a standing desk is you need to make sure that the height of the standing desk is perfect for you specifically. And the best way to understand this is we first need to understand what your best posture feels like. This way we don't have to guess. Once you know where your best posture is, we can then just adjust everything that we're about to go through to that shape and find ways to drag you into that good posture as opposed to letting your environment drag you out of that good shape. To find your best standing posture, what we first want you to do is if you can stand with your feet pointing straight, shoulder width apart, whatever you feel comfortable. From here, if you can imagine that someone's grabbed you by the top of your head and they're pulling you straight upwards. Imagine that you're being pulled up as tall as you can against gravity. From here, we want you to comfortably pull your shoulders back. Or as I like to tell my patients, just make sure that you feel like you're supporting or taking the weight of your shoulders. Don't feel like you're resting on them because again, gravity may draw them into a less than ideal posture. So again, with your feet straight, up nice and tall, shoulders comfortably back, looking straight ahead, this essentially is a very rough version of what your best posture should feel like. So if we then take it to your standing desk, naturally all that should happen is when you're in that same position and you bend your elbows, you should be about 90 degrees. So if I was to put this down too far to make the height of the desk a little bit too low for me, if I found my best posture, bent my arms to 90 degrees, the desk is this much too low for me. And the reason why we don't want that is because again, thanks to gravity and the need to relax and find stability, if the desk isn't holding you up in this position, it's going to drag you down in some way eventually. And if you're still interacting with your mouse and keyboard or your laptop, it doesn't mean that you can't be up nice and tall still, but everything's going to be dragging you down lower than you ideally need to be, which may lessen the advantage of having a standing desk. And the other little nuance to this is obviously the height of the desk is relative to you every single day, and that may change based on what you have on your feet. If you're someone who wears the exact same pairs of shoes to work every single day or around the house every day, then naturally your desk is going to be the same height every single day. But if you chop and change with a sole that's a little bit thicker, perhaps you have a heel attached, perhaps you don't mind being barefoot like I am, that will obviously change the height of your desk subtly, an inch or two or a few centimeters in either direction. So just pay attention to that. So the second thing we want to touch on here is once you've found your optimal desk height, we then need to optimize the screen that you are looking at. Now, obviously for me, I have my laptop, but if you have a desktop or something like that, the goal is still the same. So in a perfect world, if you've arranged your desk optimally, standing in your good posture and you're looking straight ahead, ideally your screen should be in this immediate vicinity. Again, if your screen is too low like my laptop is, it's naturally inclined to drag you down, to ask a certain part of your spine to hinge or globally lose a good position, to orientate towards the screen that you'll be looking at for potentially hours at a day. So with a desktop, it's really important that with your monitor, if you can raise the height of your monitor up so it drags you up into a tall position. If it's not adjustable, perhaps you need to stack up a few books underneath that to raise the height up so it's exactly where you need it to be. From a laptop perspective, we don't have as many options because obviously your screen is attached to your keyboard. This is when we can start to talk about things like a laptop stand, which may then allow you to raise the height of your laptop up. And in this instance, you may then need a wireless mouse and keyboard so that you can still use and interact with that laptop screen. But the goal is to make sure that your screen drags you up into this good position and asks you to be here and isn't constantly dragging you out of that shape. So our next priority, as mentioned, is to have a look at what your mouse and keyboard are doing for you. Once you understand where your best posture is and you understand where your best desk height is, finding your best keyboard and mouse position flows on naturally from that. Because again, if you're in your good posture and you bend your elbows to 90 degrees and you get as close to your desk as you feel you can, your mouse and keyboard should be in this immediate vicinity. As soon as your mouse and keyboard starts to get drawn away from you, and again, to do this left-handed, one of the main issues that we see ergonomically with people is what the mouse tends to do when you start to fatigue or start looking for that stability. As soon as these things get drawn away from your body, then it consistently compromises the set position that you are in. So the way to combat that is if we can bring it back into your immediate vicinity so that your elbows are by your side and your mouse and keyboard are in these positions, then we can protect against a lot of the unnecessary reaching and slouching that this equipment can drag you into. So again, up tall, pull everything back and stay in this position. So once you've arranged your desktop to be as optimal as possible for you ergonomically, you can then start to take a look at what goes on underneath your desk. And as you do start to stand more often, there are things that you can do to make that experience more palatable and more comfortable for you over time. There are anti-fatigue mats that you can stand on. These are mats that just have a little bit of give to them, that just help distribute and disperse the forces that are accumulated from standing. Not everyone has a walking pad, but as you may have seen in the introduction, a walking pad can be an amazing way to pair working on something with some form of low-level exercise. It's also worth noting that a walking pad may not be for everyone in every work environment. They can be a little bit noisy, so if your environment requires you to be a little bit quieter, it may not be for you. But if you're someone who takes a lot of phone calls and you don't need to be completely fixed in one position the whole time and you have the ability to move around a little bit more, using a walking pad is a no-brainer. Anything that gets you moving and gets you out of a stationary shape, which again is obviously sitting, but if you stood perfectly erect in a standing shape for long periods of time as well, that is still not ideal. Kelly Starrett, an American physical therapist that I respect greatly, his motto with standing desks is that standing is a gateway to movement. Again, standing still is better than sitting still, but nowhere near as good as just creating movement and activity more consistently throughout your day. A standing desk with an anti-fatigue mat can be great. A walking pad can also be great. But what Kelly often says is that your next position is your best position. One of the things that can assist you with that is if you have a footrest, where every now and again, if you have something underneath your feet that you can put your foot on, it just helps change the way that you're loading up your body. If standing on 2 feet is starting to get a little bit taxing for you. Again, as Kelly's mentioned, people who run bars and pubs, if they put a little bar at the bottom of the bar and gave people a place to put their foot on, it encourages people to stand there for longer. And it's the same thing with a footrest and a standing desk. If you can consistently change positions, unload one side, load up another side, then as you fatigue, start to move and change over. This is a great way to make standing, especially for long periods of time, more palatable. And another option to consider is that if you are committing to using a standing desk, but you do feel like your endurance and your capacity doesn't make that completely enjoyable just yet, there is nothing wrong with having a high stool behind you, where as you feel you need to, you can slide the stool in, again, preferably one that has a place to put your feet, but you can then just sort of drop down onto that a little bit without compromising the height of your desk. Give yourself a little bit of a break, allow you just to recover a little bit, then you can stand up again and continue your journey to mastering your standing desk environment. And it's simple tips like these that can make all the difference between eventually becoming sore or not. And as I always try and say, poor posture isn't very good at predicting aches, pains, and injuries. It doesn't work that way. Posture is complicated. Everyone's poor posture can be different. Pain is complicated. It's multifactorial. It's too simplistic to say that if you do slouch, you will get sore at some stage. And the research is relatively clear on that at the moment. But what I find clinically as a physiotherapist is that hindsight is perfectly clear. If you have developed an ache or a pain, and we take a big step back and look at how you do the things that you do, it's very likely that there is a shape and a position that you were getting into knowingly or unknowingly that got to a point that it could no longer tolerate what you were doing, and then you became sore. Obviously that doesn't account for acute trauma and a lot of injuries that people sustain, but it still has a potential impact on those things as well. So the point here is if we can cultivate better anatomical positions and better function, then you give yourself some of the best chances of avoiding a lot of the unnecessary aches, pains, and dysfunctions that we tend to accrue as modern humans living and existing in this modern sitting-dominated world. And at this point, it's important to mention that if you would like specific help optimizing your new standing desk environment or your current sitting desk environment, please consider booking an online video consultation with me. The idea is that we jump on a Zoom call and in real time, we can get to the bottom of where your aches and pains might be coming from and how to optimize your specific workstation, whether it be at home or at work, to fit exactly what your best posture looks and feels like. You should see a link pop up here somewhere, but I'll leave a link in the description below if you want to book in with me. So as we dive into some of the common mistakes people make when adopting a standing desk, the first one is one we spoke about previously, about jumping into this too quickly. Just like a pair of barefoot shoes or being barefoot, if you have spent years, if not decades, existing in a sitting-based environment, and we suddenly take you out of that and throw you into a completely different environment that requires you to stand, that can be challenging and taxing. I don't want you to go from nothing to everything straight away, get burnt, not enjoy the experience, feel negative about it, and then never want to come back here again. Ideally, you would wean yourself onto this. If you have an adjustable standing desk or you have a high stool that you can sit on or lean on, start by standing for 10 or 15 minutes, then readjust, sit down, continue working. Stand up again and build that time over the course of weeks and months until you can get to the point where you feel comfortable standing consistently without feeling like you need to sit down. Or the next mistake people make is assuming that a standing desk is a cure-all. You can still slouch and get into terrible positions while you're standing. It is your responsibility to understand what your best standing posture feels like and arrange everything to fit this shape. Again, if you start to fatigue, you may naturally and intuitively and instinctively start looking at certain shapes and postures that allow you to buffer this position. Please don't assume that optimizing your ergonomic environment will fix your natural posture. That has to come from within. You have to have an internal awareness and an internal drive to make all of this meaningful, to hold yourself in better positions. Yes, optimizing everything may help draw you into better positions more consistently, but just keep paying attention to where you might be day to day in terms of the positions and shapes you get into, because so many people start off really good. They tick the box in their head that they've optimized their posture, but then without themselves realizing it, half an hour later, they're back into a shape that their body wants to adopt because they're either distracted distracted and rightfully engrossed in what they're doing, or they're fatiguing and their body's looking for some stability and a position to rest in. So just keep checking in with yourself. And as I mentioned before, please make sure that you're constantly moving around. The more you can change positions, the more you can move your foot onto a stool, you can sit down, stand back up again. As Callie mentions, your next position is often your best position. So please keep that in the back of your mind and don't just assume that all of this is going to cure you. So with that being said, I genuinely hope that this was insightful and helpful. Again, if you need help optimizing your workplace or your home work office, please consider booking in an online consultation with me. If you found this video helpful and interesting, please consider leaving a like and subscribe to the channel if you want more content like this. Please consider becoming a member of the channel if you want more exclusive content and extended cuts of these videos. It genuinely does help support me and gives me the ability to do this and make a go of it. But with all that being said, thank you for watching. Good luck in your transition from sitting to standing, and I don't think you'll be disappointed, but I hope to see you next time.